Готово.
Окей, спасибо. Okay, hello everyone. Hope everyone can hear me. So my name is Tamaras, and today I will be conducting this webinar on reading and listening as parts of the IELTS test. Just let me know if everyone can hear me. You can write in the chat box. Okay, so in this webinar, we will start by looking at some common types of the IELTS reading task. So great. And typically, there would be around 8 or even more IELTS reading type of, I would say, tasks, so question types. So that could be the same for both academic and general training reading modules. So we will be basically looking at the type of questions where you have to deal with the completion tasks. So before we get started with this part, let's just review the 4 skills that you have to know about this reading and doing the tasks in reading sections. What were generally like the skills that or type of reading that you have to apply while doing this section of the test? Can you just write in a chat box? What strategies or skills should you employ while doing the reading section of the IELTS test? Okay. That's right. So this is basically, yeah, right, everyone. So yes, basically we, while normally starting doing the IELTS reading tests, before we start reading that, we have to know that you're reading not to get knowledge, you're reading to answer the questions. And this assess your understanding and your language competence, or let's say abilities. So this is why skimming, scanning could be the best way, approaches in while reading the text in IELTS reading section. So, and also dealing with typical type of questions. So you can use identifying keywords and paraphrasing. These are 4 key, I would say, skills that you have to master in order to successfully answer the IELTS reading questions. So let's get started with the completion tasks. So we will start by looking at more specific type of them. It's short answer questions. So you would be given few questions where you have to answer them briefly, shortly. So the skill that you have to use for this type of the task is to scanning and then identifying keywords. Okay, now let's have a look to the next slide. So you can see here several questions. Try to read and identify the keywords. You can quickly go through and quickly write in a chat box. So, what factors made Michael Jackson internationally renowned? What are the keywords? Okay. Yeah, the first one you can see, factors, yes, made Mike internationally renowned. That's factors made internationally renowned. Yeah, Michael Jackson, that's, yeah, proper noun. That also could be internationally what? Renowned. Yes, so everybody understands the word renowned, hope. So what about the second one, renowned? That means a famous. Yes, nickname. That's right. And what about next? Number four, the third one. Give an example of the impact of Jackson's music on relations between people. Impact, yep, this is right. Yeah, that's right. So we can say example, impact, and relations between people, right? And finally, how did Michael Jackson contribute to the success of one particular company? Right. Okay. So here you can also see the key questions that we can highlight. It's the word how, contribute to the success of, and then company. Normally, when you deal with this type of questions, first and foremost, quickly scan and then, like we did, and identify the keywords. So keywords will help you to look for the right part in the text. You can easily locate the part in your passage in the text. So using the neighboring words and the keywords in the context, you can find that right information which you are looking for. So let's do this first task, and using this information that we have highlighted, try to find the answers. So what question number one, what factors made Michael Jackson internationally renowned? Answer the question based on the text. So the answers could be in any order, remember. When you write your answers, you shouldn't change the word form, and you have to copy as it is given in the passage, right? Normally in IELTS reading, so you'd be given a limited number of words. Normally they may state no more than 3 words or a word and a number, something like this. So you have to follow these instructions. Right. So let's try to look at the answer. Yep. So you can see here what factors, that is at least 2 factors, yeah, at least. Contributions to music and dance, yes, and publicized personal life. So these are 2 factors. So for now, we are trying to find the answer to the questions, music and dance. So, right, and publicized personal life. So, and what was Jackson's nickname? Mm-hmm. Please, right. Nickname. Yes, that isn't a surname. This is a nickname. Right. So, right. So it is his, like, let's kind of mm, give a name to someone. Yes, in other words, a nick. So my name, a tag, maybe we can say. Right. This isn't, of course, Jackson. That's right. This is the king of the, yes, called the king of pop. King of pop. That's right. What about next? Give an example of the impact of Jackson's music on relations between people. Look at the keyword impact. This is the influence, right? And be ready to paraphrase while you analyze the question, try to understand it, and look at it, this information. Look for this information from the text. All right, let's see. The music videos for his songs. That's right. As an example, we can say, example, Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller. That's right, to with breaking down racial barriers. So yes, breaking down racial barriers. That's about like relationship between people could be, in other words. All right, what about the last one? How, yes, did Michael Jackson contribute to the success of one particular company? Right. Hmm. Yeah, that is one particular company. It's MTV. So it asks us how, the ways, yes? It's the popularity of his music videos helped to bring like success that then led relatively new television channel MTV to fame. That's the popularity of Michael Jackson's music videos. Right. So this is kind of practice task. So whenever you deal with questions in real IELTS reading texts, you would be given like instructions that you have strictly follow. They may say how many words you can write. This is why be careful that you take into account the number of words you're allowed to write. Okay, maximum and minimum how many words you can write. So spelling is really crucial. This is why bear in mind and try to copy and paste it in your text from the passage. Thus, the main strategies that you can employ, they are reading the question first, that would be scanning, and then identifying keywords. All the time, bear in mind the use of adjectives and adverbs. So try to think of some synonyms, or in other words, how they could be paraphrased. So use some sentence structures that could be expressed the same idea. Right, think of the words you will use to locate the information in the text. So from the context, like it could be locating words, like let's say proper nouns. If you've got any figures, numbers, you can use them. Adjectives. This type of words will help you to locate the information given in the text easily. Thus, you manage your time more efficiently. All right, let's do practice some questions here. You are going to read a text about the history of Easter eggs. So have a look to the instructions. It says, answer the questions below. Choose no more than no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. So thus, you may either write 1 word or 2 words. Okay, so using the keywords, try to locate the answers and write them in the chat box. Please start. What is another name for Easter eggs? That's right, another name. That's a keyword. For Easter eggs. So Easter eggs also called Pascal eggs. Yes. So what type of eggs were formerly used at Easter in Europe? Well, let's look at how others write the answers for the second one. Eggs formerly used in Europe. These are the keywords, right, that you have to use in order to locate the answer. Right, that is chicken eggs. Chicken eggs. So in Europe, it isn't the same. It was traditional to use, formerly used. It's kind of how it is paraphrased. Yes. So there is a dyed and painted chicken eggs. So if you say dyed chicken eggs, that would be more than 2 words. Hence, it would be incorrect. This is why you have to write chicken eggs, and that would be a much more appropriate answer. What did eggs represent on the whole? Right, that's right, everybody. That is fertility and rebirth. Eggs in general were traditional symbol of fertility, represent, symbolize. Here we've got a noun to be a symbol of something. Rebirth, fertility. So we don't have to write the word and, otherwise the answer would be incorrect since it would be 3 words. All right, we've got 2 words. This is why you can write 2 words there, and this would be fine. Okay. So what type of eggs were formerly used at Easter in Europe? So that was chicken eggs, right? Well, here we've got in the last one, fertility and rebirth in the context. If you write the word and, that would be 3 words. Again, incorrect. This is why you simply write 2 words with a comma that would be appropriate. Right, let's move on to the next part. Here we're going to read one more text that would be about the endangered African rhino. Choose no more than 3 words and or a number from the text for each answer. See a combination, no more than 3 words and or a number. Right. What is the African rhinoceros compared to? Please use the keywords and write your answers. Right, the first one is tank on legs. Yes, not a tank. So that would be four words already. This is why I say simply tank on legs. So compared to, like, that's a comparison here. Look at the grammar and the function of the words being used there. Which type of rhino fell in number to below 100? Hmm? So use the type of rhino, fell, the keyword, and 100. These are the keywords that you should use to locate the answer. Right. So in the second one, if you simply say, for instance, southern white, that would be incorrect. Write the whole southern white or northern white of what? A rhino. Yes. Copy the whole one so that the answer would be correct. If we say someone writing northern white rhinos, that would be incorrect because white rhinos have had mixed fortune. Sadly, there are no northern white rhinos left in the wild, and only a handful in captivity. Thus, this isn't the right one. But the southern white rhino is a conservation success story. It has been held back from under 100. So which type of rhino fell in number to below 100? That is southern white rhino. Use the keyword here, 100, fell under hundreds, so that it's increased in the past, but not now. The correct answer is southern white rhino. So what percentage of black rhinos had been illegally killed by 1992? I tried to paraphrase the keywords there and locate the answer. It asks you about the percentage. Right. So yes, that is right. So 96% or around 96%. So wide scale poaching. So that's kind of poachery, illegal hunting. Yes. So that's why bear in mind this information. In 1992, so it says by 1992, it covers for all the period from 1970 to 1992. Okay, so the last question, how have the criminals improved their success? How criminals, yes, have the criminals improved their success? Try to copy from the context, so from the passage, right? Do not change the word formation. It says choose no more than 3 words from the text for each answer. Right. So try always to pick up the right information or a combination of the words from the context as well. Yeah, let's look at the answer here. Got better equipped, or better equipped, you can say, or got better equipped. Okay, so that not increasingly better equipped. Increasingly would be kind of redundant there. So you better say better equipped or got better equipped. Yeah, if you write any words which yeah would be like a bit redundant from that, so that would be incorrect. So either write better equipped, increasingly better equipped. So in terms of the number of the words that's applicable, so it partly could be considered correct, but better say if it's kind of passive form, get better equipped would be correct, not increasingly better equipped. So better equipped it also implies that the level of like this weaponry also improved. Let's look at the other type of questions now. This would be sentence completion. Well, in sentence completion, you normally should start by reading the instructions. So normally the instructions may state no more than 2 words and or a number from the passage for each answer. So hence you have to copy the words from the passage you are reading, not from what you understood and your prediction. Always, even though you have done lots of reading texts, I mean tests, mock tests, and you are familiar with that instructions, read at least and highlight to avoid any misconceptions there. So remember that there are sometimes the words as part-time, they are called hyphenated word. So even there would be several words like state of the art, which is 4 words hyphenated, so that is counted as 1 word. An article is also considered to be a word or prepositions. This is why while writing your answers, taking into account all these features. So the steps that you have to follow in order to better cope with this type of the task is, first and foremost, read the incomplete sentence you're given. Using the neighboring words, try to predict the type of word or information is missing. So it could be either names, let's say nouns, adjectives, verbs, and so many other notion words, not functional words, okay? Functional words like articles, prepositions, they are excluded from this list. Underline keywords and use them to find the relevant part of the passage. So keywords would help you to locate the answer. Remember that. And use the synonyms or also know how this or that idea could be paraphrased in the text. So using different grammatical structure, synonyms or antonyms for that word, that would be likely that help you to locate the answer. And after reading the relevant section, so you have to write your answer carefully. As for sometimes you are required to write, for example, no more than 2 or 3 words, and you have to write the answer. They say, what color was mostly preferred by people, and you see black and red. So if you write black and red, that would be 3 words. Instead, you can write black, comma, red. Comma isn't considered to be any kind of word, but it's a character that you can use to split these 2 words. That's fine. So let's move to these text. So the Great Wall of China. Look at the instruction. It says choose no more than one word and or a number. Hence, it has a combination of three situations. One word, and a number, or a number itself. Try to look at the conjunction and or. Sometimes they may say no more than one word or a number. In this case, your answer would be consider two options, either a word or a number. Right. So please read this text and write your answers using the keywords. The original purpose of Great Wall of China, defense against. Right. So that's, you can see the keywords from the context. Defense against what? So protect, yes, from invasion. Right. So what about next? According to popular belief. So the wall is visible from the somewhere. Visible. Use the keywords there. Yes, that's right. From the moon. Right. To deny that this assertion is true. Okay, this belief is true. Okay, right. So this is two astronauts denied this assertion is true. So denied was contradicted by astronauts Neil Armstrong and Young Liwei. So they don't say literally two, but they name two astronauts. So this is why I try to be critical to what you read in order to find out the correct answers. Right, thank you. So now let's move to the one more task. That would be about European settlement of Australia. Please read the instruction and using the keywords, try to locate the answer, pay attention to your spelling, and write your answers in the chat box. Australia was originally founded. Okay, so okay, yes, Australia was originally founded as a British air panel colony. That's right. Okay, the major consideration in colonizing Australia was Britain's. What was the major consideration? So right answer would be yes. So the most important factor was this need to relieve its overcrowded prisons. So overcrowded prisons would be correct. If you say relieve that would be inappropriate grammatically. So your answer shouldn't be logically, shouldn't be only, yes, correct logically, but also grammatically. So pay attention to the grammar. Right. It was thought that could be gained in the part of the world due to the access provided via Australia. So, right. So here we can see also Australia was of strategic importance to Britain, and it provided base for Royal Navy in the Eastern Sea. Also, Australia could be used as an entry point to the economic opportunities of the surrounding area. So that part of the world, surrounding area, yes, so due to the access provided via Australia. So Australia could use as entry points. Not about strategic importance only, but here um, the economic opportunities would be the correct answer. Lord Sydney took every factor into account when he gave official permission for the something of Australia. So the keywords here, Lord Sydney, so you can use that to find out what is that. There's a permission, that's right, colonization. All right, and last question, Botany Bay was abandoned by the settlers due to the lack of cover and so why it was abandoned? Okay, they left the bay because of due to the keywords like poor soil. That's right. Because of the lack of cover. That's its openness. You'll see how it is being paraphrased and poor soil. So, right. Good, everyone. Let's move on to one more top text. That would be the war on smoking. So write all the answers and then we could quickly check it. See the instruction first. What does that say? 2 words and or a number. Okay. Most recent strategy to tackle the problem of smoking. So the latest strategy to deal with, yes, to solve the problem. So in other words, you can use that. Mm-hmm. Right. So yes, also mind the spellings in your answers. That's really important. Large number of new smokers. So there is an emphasis, particularly under 16s. Yeah, make certain, so in the context, you can see how it's helping ensure viable markets. Yes, viable markets, right. So let's see number 3. Okay, some countries packaging is the only method that cigarette companies have for promotion. So the last major vehicle for a promotion. See the ideas how they are paraphrased. Good. And finally, packets are seen as being in the cigarette industry. What? Right. And finally, you can write either of them, silent salesman, or you can write mobile billboard. So either of them would be correct options. Okay, so bear in mind. So in some cases, you would have several choices. So you have to pick one of them. Right. Okay. Now let's move to the next category of the questions practice. In this category of the questions, we are going to deal with diagrams and flowcharts completion questions. Okay. So normally, in this category of the questions, you are given a flowchart or a diagram, which you have to label using the words from the reading, from the passage. Okay. You're being tested for your intensive reading skills. So how you deeply read and find out the information missing. And also your ability to understand and interpret visual information. And first and foremost, when you deal with diagrams, so use like surveying. While surveying, try to check how the text is organized. So that would be about subheadings, bullet points, and different fonts. So they normally use italics for something, okay, to highlight that, or maybe in bold. Look at the font as well. And then look at the flow chart. Try to become familiar with its structure. So see if the structure of the text can help you find the answers. So while practicing, pay attention at these aspects and look at the sentences. So sometimes you can make a prediction, a logical prediction based on the neighboring words, the missing words. Finally, underline the keywords in the flowchart and then scan the text to find the relevant part. So once you found the right part in the passage, so you can use intensive reading skills there to find that word or information which is missing. Okay. In most cases, the answer would be in chronological order, but not always. Okay. Bear in mind this aspect as well. So the question is the exercise. Yes, and this exercise followed the order of the text. However, as I mentioned, so the missing section is usually, but not always, a noun phrase. Okay. So they could be sometimes, in most cases, a noun, but they could be other types of words as well. Really crucial and important rule. Don't change the words from the text in any way. If the word doesn't fit, it means that you got the wrong answer. Make sure the word you choose fits grammatically as well as logically. Let's move on. Here you go, the first text. It's about planning process for middle-sized projects. So use the keywords and try to find out the answers. Suggested stages in a planning process. Okay, you can find in the text the first paragraph you read quickly, and nothing that say this typical stages in the planning process. So from there you can start reading. Start by identifying opportunities. So your first task is to spot. To spot, it means to identify, what needs to be done. Opportunities for making improvements to current situation. Examine your firm's current position. Current situation, current position, they are keywords. Okay. Pay attention to how many words you should write. It says one word only. Okay, everybody write your answers all. Decide and define the plan's exact. So it's a next step is to decide precisely. Decide precisely, like exact. So say how that's paraphrased. What the aim, so the plan's aim. The aim of your plan is. So the plan's exact aim. The word aim is the correct answer to the first one. Aim. Right. Okay. Okay. The identify that consider something of possible solutions. That's right as well. We can say a range of possible solutions. Okay. Mhm. What about the third one? Yes. Make a selection for possible solutions. The selection of which options to use is the next step. Right. Okay. Plan all something of every aspect of the project. Work out the full details. That's right. Details. Carry out an. Have a look to the article as well. So it is an. So if you remember the rule, it usually precedes the word which starts with vowel sounds, like an hour, yes, an apple. So that should be a word with vowel sound, not consonant sound. So bear in mind this aspect of the grammar as well. So an evaluation, okay? This evaluation enables carry out an evaluation. So in case you pick up the word review, that would be inappropriate grammatically. So we can't say an review. So that should be an evaluation of your plan. Carry out of your completed plan. Yes, that's right. Implementation. So completed plan. Once you have finished your plan, your completed plan, it's time for implementation. Look at how the sentence are paraphrased. And finally, you can say, identify whether the project has provided any for you. Right. That is lessons. Yeah, see whether there are any lessons that you can learn. Good. All right. So thank you. So now let's move on one more text quickly we will do, and then we will wrap up with reading section. So this time practice and use all that skills. The text would be about the benefits of having a business mentor. So read the instruction and fill the gaps. Write all the answers, and then we can check. All right. So, how can a mentor help somebody setting up a business? A mentor, as if you're starting your own business, you probably need a mentor. And the next sentence, this is a business person who volunteers. A mentor volunteers to give their time to help a new business person. Try the first volunteers. Right. So mentors have a different role from, see how it is being compared. So business mentors won't solve your problems for you or tell you what to do. They will talk things over with you rather than acting as consultants. So rather than it's comparison here, different role from consultants. Right. A mentor can help you turn your idea into a successful business. So now you can say the role of mentor. Assist when you need to make. So if you know the collocation with the word make, so that's also a useful strategy to predict if we're missing there. Assist, how it's paraphrased. Yes. So with, that's a decision, most appropriate answer would be there. Make decision. All right. In a few seconds, we will check all. So please, everybody, check your answers. Volunteers, yep, a mentor volunteers from consultants make decisions. So increase its efficiency, improve your efficiency. And 5, build confidence, provide you with more confidence to be agreed. How much involvement? So you will need to agree on the degree of involvement. Right, everybody? So let's try one more reading text quickly so that I will give you around 4 minutes for doing that. And then we can move there. Okay? Since the text is much easier. Advice for immigrants. So write no more than 2 words here. So you'll have around 4 to 5 minutes. Quickly finish that. Okay. So while writing, mind you spellings and also pay attention the number of words that you can write. Okay. Read the context using neighboring words. Be critical when you read the text. So in order to locate the correct answers. Okay. Okay, 1 more minute and then we try to check it. All right, a few more seconds left. Okay, now let's get started to check it. So first one it says, trade certificates, since new arrivals to North America need to make sure that their academic qualifications or their trade certificates are accepted. So that's international credentials. What are they? These may be trade certificates or educational qualifications. Bear in mind that you are critical to what you read. So the correct answer to the first one would be trade certificates. This is fine. Second one, you can say formal education as employers. So number of companies view formal education as a major requirement. It's very important when hiring. And then people educated in North America may initially be offered a higher salary level. Salary level, that was a correct answer. So a higher salary, what? So of course there should be the word level as well. And next one, you can see the word course often provide more job stability. Job stability, so potential for long-term job security. And this is about apprenticeship or apprenticeship training. Both answers would be appropriate. And the other one, you can see, most of the effort to find work is spent trying to obtain most of the effort. So say getting job interviews is more than 50% of the whole process of securing employment. That's more than 50% that's being paraphrased into the phrase most of the effort, securing employment, like finding work. And lastly, that's diversity. Okay, so in improving diversity at work, so in diversity, so increases. The word diversity would be correct. So yeah, that's all about a reading passage. And now we move on to the listening one. And in this section, we will be looking at how to define, identify, let's say, distractors, and how to eliminate the number of incorrect answers in a multiple choice questions. So remember that multiple choice questions, normally you have to follow certain steps while dealing with this type of question. So you can see here the question. So underline the keywords and think of synonyms. So read the questions carefully before the audio starts usually, okay? Read and try to understand what you need to listen for about information. And then underline keywords, or in other words, like important information. Let's say while reading the question, you have to highlight or underline keywords or key phrases related to the answer. And this, of course, will help you focus on the specific details while listening. Once you've finished with the question, move to the options. Skim through the answer options quickly to get an idea of what to expect. Hence, this will help you eliminate any obviously wrong options and narrow down your choices. Okay? So quickly, you can look at the keywords there in the questions. What are they? Can you come up quickly? Okay. What two disadvantages of the new mobile phone does the speaker mention? So yeah, you can see here now the keywords like two disadvantages, new mobile phone, yes, as a question, so we can see. Or other like options, look at the other keywords you can see, so which are underlined, and be able to predict what they mean. For instance, it isn't user-friendly, yeah, so not easy to use. Right. Have a look to all the options, so you can see it's very expansive. How it can say, in other words, try to be able to predict that, like paraphrase them. It can't take photographs, so unable to take pictures. Or it has a short battery life. Battery doesn't last long, or it's quite long, lengthy, or portable. So now I will put on the audio. Your task would be to put the options, all 5 options, in the correct order. Still, don't answer. Just put them in right order that you hear in the audio. After that, you will listen one more time, and then you will write your answers. Here we go.
Recording 15.
In today's show, I'm going to be looking at what's new in technology this week. And I'd like to start by looking at the much-awaited OP56 mobile phone from technology giants Optiware. It has some amazing features. The first thing you notice is how much slimmer and lighter it is compared to the heavier, older models. It's incredible considering that they have actually increased the screen size on this one, though it still fits neatly into your pocket. They've also improved the camera, and you'll find you can take much better quality photos on this model. This has an impact on the battery though, as it takes a lot of power, and I found it didn't run for very long before needing to be recharged. Despite all its amazing features, it's extremely easy to use, but I do have to say that it is overpriced and will be beyond the budget of most people shopping for a new phone.
Okay, now put all the 5 options in the order that you heard from the audio. Not the right answer yet. Try to write in 5 options as you heard in the order. All 5 options in the right order. Okay, please check it. That's a E, C, D, A, B. Okay? Right, everybody check that you're understanding. First, I talked about the size. Yes, quite long. So, like all. Okay, now let's look at the options which are correct. Okay, so would you like to listen again, or if you have already got the answers, you can write in the chat box. Everybody, I see some already wrote the answers. So yeah, let's check one more here. Correct answers, that's B and D. So 2 disadvantages of a new mobile phone, 2 drawbacks, okay, 2 downsides. That's right. Okay, now let's move on to the next task. So you see that how that works. If you deal with the keywords in the options and in the questions and narrow down the least likely answers, so they will help you more and more possibility to deal with the task. All right, let's move to the next part. Now we try to look at how to identify distractors. So distractors, you may understand, these are incorrect answers to a question. So if you try to highlight and identify, so while listening to the audio distractors, so it may show your level of understanding the listening text, the audio. For that, you should read the question and identify the keywords. That could be names, numbers, ordinal numbers, adjectives, and even adverbs. So in case you've got any adjectives or adverbs, try to paraphrase them. Think of synonyms, because most probably they might be paraphrased. They use different adjectives or adverbs from the question. So while you listen to the question, write down all the options, okay? Adhere and cross the incorrect answer. And during the audio, listen carefully for the information related to the question. Try to focus on understanding and capturing the details, okay? So once you have done that, so pay attention that using the information you heard and the keywords identified to predict the correct answer, so will prevent you from being influenced by the distractors. So once the audio is finished, read the options again, compare them to your predicted answer, and eliminate any options that do not match the information you heard. Be always cautious, again, I would mention, of synonyms and paraphrases used in the options, okay? And of course, if you are unsure about the answer, start eliminating options that you believe are incorrect or less likely based on the information you heard. This will increase your chances of selecting the correct answers. And finally, select the option that you believe is most accurate based on your understanding of the information you heard. If you are unsure, make an educated guess, as there are no penalties for wrong answers. Bear in mind these steps in dealing with the matching questions. So here we go with the question. So you will answer the question in the table. So you should write one word and or a number. So you will write the date, okay? So also the answers and also distractors quickly. So here we go. You should underline what are the keywords. What date will they leave? Yes, date they leave. What day will the two visit the farm? Two visited. The students decided to do a project about. Students agreed to do a project about. So that's a topic is missing. So try to analyze the context and problems. One problem is given. The other problem is a lack of. Make sure that you understand this word. Here we go.
Recording 13. 1.
Right, so you need to book some flights, is that right?
Yes, for me and my family. We're going to Scotland for my sister's wedding.
Oh, lovely. When's the wedding?
It's on the 21st of July.
That should be wonderful. But I assume you'll want to fly in earlier. What about the 20th, or even the 19th?
It will have to be the 18th. I've actually got to attend a special dinner on the 19th.
2.
Welcome aboard, everyone. I hope you'll enjoy your stay with us and get a lovely glimpse of country life. We're going to a wonderful market on Tuesday morning. I'm sure you'll love that with all the local farm produce on sale. Then, on the Wednesday, you'll get to see where all that lovely produce comes from, as John Smith, a local farmer, has invited us to see him at work. On Thursday, you'll have a day to relax before we leave on Friday.
3.
So, what topic are we going to choose for our project? It's due in 3 weeks.
I know. It's not a lot of time. I was going to suggest we do one on the environment.
But that's so broad a topic. We should try to narrow it down. What about recycling?
That's a good idea. There's a lot of information, and I think the other groups are concentrating on pollution, so this would be nice and different.
4.
We encountered quite a few problems during our research. Firstly, the weather was horrendous and made our work conditions very difficult indeed. Luckily, we had the right equipment to deal with that and could carry on regardless. Unfortunately, though, in spite of having so many volunteers, we did run out of funds halfway through the project, so we were forced to postpone the second half of our trip.
All right, please write your answers. Okay, what date will they leave? Okay, so there were several dates. One of them is correct, yes? These are, yes, okay. Distractors, and of course, write the correct answers as well. The first one you can see here. Write the whole answer here. If you simply write 1921, which month? So that's missing. 18th or 18 July or July 18th. So 19th, 20th, and 21st were distractors. That's right. What day will the two visit the farm? That's Wednesday. So make sure that your spelling is correct with that one. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, these are incorrect. Students decided to do a project about, so which topic? So that's, well, you can see recycling, yes. So environment, they didn't agree, saying that it is rather broader topic. Pollution, it's the topic that the other group is being. Right. So try to note down all the information relevant to the information you hear, well, from the audio. So about each, let's say, topics. And finally, so we are run out of funds. So that is about money, lack of funds. Yes, equipment and volunteers have been two distractors. Please, everybody, check your answers and write the dates correctly. 18th July or July 18th. So remember that. Without TH also, simply you can say 18 July. That would be also correct. All right. Now let's do one practice task before we wrap up here. And that would be a section 3 questions. So, and in the section 3 question, so remember that you are expected to hear in some talk between 2 to maximum 4 people. And the talk would be on an academic domain. So something related to the studying and among students and their tutors. So, and here you can hear, you can listen to the attitude of like people involved in the dialogue, whether they express agreement, disagreement, or some other attitudes that you may come up with. So the questions that you're dealing with, it's choosing the correct answers. So use the strategies that we've learned, keywords highlighting, identify the keywords, and scan quickly the options and get ready with the right answers. Okay, so right, now let's get started. You will hear only once the audio in this aspect. So choose the correct answer.
Recording 53.
You will hear 2 students discussing a presentation they are going to give. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Robert.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. I was just printing off some pages about food waste in Britain.
Do you want to include Britain in the presentation? I thought we were concentrating on the USA.
Well, it is a global problem, so I thought we ought to provide some statistics that show that.
Fair enough. What did you find out?
Well, I was looking at a British study from 2013. It basically concluded that 12 billion pounds worth of food and drink was thrown away each year, all of it ending up in landfill sites. Over 8 million tons. And that wasn't including packaging.
An incredible amount.
Yes, and they were only looking at what households threw away. So there's no information about restaurants and the catering industry. But one thing the study did investigate was the amount of milk and soft drinks that were wasted. And I think it was probably quite unique in that respect.
Interesting. You know, In the other European reports I've read, there's one thing they have in common when they talk about carbon dioxide emissions.
I know what you are going to say. They never refer to the fuel that farms and factories require to produce the food and the carbon dioxide that releases?
Exactly. We could really cut down on carbon emissions if less food was supplied in the first place. To my mind, the reports talk too much about the carbon dioxide produced by the trucks that deliver the fresh goods to the shops and take the waste away. They forget about one of the key causes of carbon dioxide.
Absolutely. If the reports are actually going to be useful to people, they need to be more comprehensive.
Who do you mean by people?
Well, the government, industries, people making television programs. Have you seen any documentaries about food waste?
Not that I remember.
My point exactly. These days, they all seem to be focusing on where your meat, fruit, and vegetables are sourced from. We're being encouraged to buy locally, not from overseas. That's probably a good thing, but I'd still like to see something about waste.
Yes, it's the same with magazine articles. It's all about fat and sugar content, and the kind of additives and coloring in food, but nothing about how it reaches your table and what happens after it ends up in the bin.
Well, we've only got 15 minutes for this presentation, so I think we'll have to limit what we say about the consequences of food waste. What do we want to concentrate on?
Well, I know some of the other presentations are looking at food and farming methods and what they do to the environment. So I think we'll avoid that. And the fact that in some countries, people can't afford the food grown on their own farms. That was covered last term.
Okay, we don't want to repeat stuff.
What concerns me above all else is that in a recession, governments should be encouraging business to find ways to cut costs. Apparently, supermarkets in the USA lose about 11% of their fruit to waste. That's throwing money away.
All right, we'll focus on that problem. It should get the others' attention anyway. Now, how do you want to begin the presentation? Let's not start with statistics, though, because that's what everybody does.
I agree. How about we give the other students a set of questions to answer about what they suspect they waste every day?
I'm fine with that. Probably a better option than showing pictures of landfill sites. It'll be more personalized that way.
All right. Now let's start.
Now get introduced with questions 6 to 10.
Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Okay, you have around 20 seconds to read the questions.
Okay, shall we now have a look at the projects that different researchers and organizations are working on?
For me, the project I really liked was the one at Tufts University. You know, where they've invented tiny edible patches to stick on fresh foods that show you what level of bacteria is present, and so whether you can still eat it.
It's a great idea, as it tells you if you need to hurry up and eat the food before it goes off. The other good thing about the patches is that apparently they'll be cheap to manufacture.
Good. Then the other thing I thought was great was the Massachusetts Institute of Technology project.
I hadn't seen that.
Well, they've developed these sensors that can detect tiny amounts of ethylene. Ethylene is the natural plant hormone in fruit that makes them turn ripe, apparently. The researchers think that they can attach the sensors to cardboard boxes, and then supermarkets can scan the sensors with a portable device to see how ripe the fruit inside is. That's got to be a quicker way to check for ripeness than taking each box off the shelf and opening it.
Definitely. And I thought that Lean Path was worth mentioning too. Their waste tracking technology means that caterers can see how much food is being wasted and why. That'll increase profits for them eventually.
Yes. And did you read about 0%? They've produced this smartphone application that allows restaurants to send donation alerts to food charities. The charities can then pick up the unwanted food and distribute it to people in need.
In the long run, that'll definitely benefit poorer families in the neighborhood. No kid should go to school hungry.
I agree. And I read that quite a few local governments in the USA are thinking about introducing compulsory composting in their states. So you can't put any food waste into your rubbish bins, just the compost bin.
Well, I guess that means a bit more work for people. I mean, they have to separate the organic and inorganic waste themselves before they take it out to the compost bin, and you know how lazy some people are. But I guess if we all start composting, we'd be doing something positive about the problem of food waste ourselves, rather than relying on the government to sort it out. Having said that, not everyone has a garden, so I guess...
Okay, now let's try to check your answers. So here we go with that part. Let's say, yeah, the 23rd question 21 is C, question 22 is A, 23 is B, that's 24 is C, and 25 is A again. Everybody check your answers. And the second part, you can see. So here we go. Question says, what advantages do the speaker, right, identify for each of the following projects? So you should choose 5 answers from the box and write the correct letter A, G next to the questions. So we've got comments about each project as advantages. So yes, G, A, D, C, and E. Right. So that's it. So with this part, and as it has been mentioned, in any kind of multiple choice questions, all the time, evaluate the options and also, of course, predict the answers when it comes to selecting the options. So choose normally the one which is based on your understanding of the information you heard. So at least if you missed any part, try to make an educated guess. So there are no penalties for wrong answers. This is why at least you can make a guess, which might probably, there is a potentiality that could be correct answer. Right, with that one, here we are to wrap up our today's session. Thank you so much. Bye.